Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive into some piping hot tea, and we're coming to you with the most explosive, jaw-dropping spoilers to hit Los Angeles this season. Buckle up and brace yourselves, because the corporate and family wars are reaching a lethal boiling point, and the drama is completely off the charts. The sterile, blindingly white corridors of a Los Angeles hospital are about to become a brutal, unforgiving battleground. John Finnegan, fresh off a frantic, desperate flight from Monaco, sprints through the halls, his mind racing with a million frantic ways to save his shattered marriage. He is a man running out of time, desperate to reach his office and formulate a plan to win back his wife. But Finn never makes it to his sanctuary. Emerging from the shadows like a lethal apex predator is Ridge Forrester. The legendary dressmaker isn't here for a friendly chat, and he certainly isn't here to offer a shoulder to cry on. Ridge is here for blood. He physically blocks Finn's path, his jaw clenched so tight it looks carved from solid granite. The tension in the hospital corridor is instantly suffocating, thick enough to cut with a surgical scalpel. Ridge doesn't just have wild accusations. He has absolute, undeniable receipts. He aggressively corners Finn, trapping him under the harsh fluorescent lights, ready to deliver a fatal blow to the young doctor's entire existence. Ridge's voice is a low, dangerous roar that echoes ominously off the linoleum floors, demanding the attention of anyone within earshot. He glares at the good doctor, his eyes blazing with a father's unyielding, feral fury. Ridge violently throws down the evidence, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Finn knowingly allowed Sheila to tail them across the Atlantic Ocean. The bombshell detonates in the narrow hallway. "You chose her," Ridge spits, the venom in his voice unmistakable and absolutely lethal. "You chose your psychopath mother over your own wife and children." Ridge completely dismantles Finn's pathetic, stammering excuses. He doesn't care about Finn's biological pull or Sheila's supposed redemption arc. In Ridge's eyes, Finn has committed the ultimate, unforgivable betrayal. He allowed a known monster to stalk his family in their most vulnerable, romantic moments in Monte Carlo. Ridge aggressively backs Finn against the wall, making it crystal clear that this is not a simple misunderstanding. It is a catastrophic failure of duty that will not go unpunished. The stakes skyrocket into the stratosphere as Ridge reaches into his tailored designer jacket and pulls out the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, a stack of freshly drafted, legally binding divorce papers. He shoves them directly into Finn's chest, the physical impact mirroring the sheer emotional devastation of the moment. "Sign them," Ridge demands, his tone colder than absolute zero. This isn't a negotiation, and it certainly isn't a request. It's an execution. Ridge is demanding that Finn sever all legal ties to Steffy right here, right now, in the middle of the hospital corridor. He refuses to let his daughter spend another second legally bound to a man who harbors her attempted murderer. The sheer audacity of Ridge's power move leaves Finn completely paralyzed. Ridge is acting as judge, jury, and executioner, declaring the marriage dead on arrival. He forcefully shoves a pen toward Finn's trembling hand, roaring that Steffy hurled her wedding ring into the Monaco dirt, and that violent gesture was the final, undeniable nail in the coffin of their tragic love story. But Ridge isn't finished destroying Finn's life. He knows that Finn's identity is split directly down the middle between being a devoted husband and being a renowned, respected physician. If Finn refuses to sign the papers and walk away quietly, Ridge threatens to obliterate the other half of his world. With billions of dollars, endless corporate resources, and terrifying influence across the city, Ridge looks Finn dead in the eye and promises to strip him of his medical license. "If you ever go near my daughter again," Ridge snarls, his voice dripping with malice, "I will make sure you never practice medicine in this town, or any town, ever again." The threat is absolute and chilling. Ridge is fully willing to buy the hospital board, manufacture an inescapable scandal, and ruin Finn's professional reputation permanently. He is holding Finn's entire livelihood hostage in exchange for Steffi's freedom. The sheer ruthlessness of Ridge's ultimatum proves that the Forrester family is officially at war, and they're taking absolutely no prisoners. Finn is drowning in a massive tidal wave of panic and despair. He desperately tries to explain himself, his voice cracking as he begs Ridge to understand his twisted logic. He stammers about his good intentions, claiming he only stayed quiet to protect Steffi's peace of mind, to prevent their miraculous reunion trip from being ruined by Sheila's looming shadow. But his frantic words are utterly useless against Ridge's impenetrable wall of rage. Ridge coldly cuts him off, brutally reminding Finn that his silence didn't protect Steffi. It created a psychological ghost that will haunt her forever. Ridge ruthlessly points out that Steffi is now traumatized all over again, constantly looking over her shoulder, wondering when Sheila will strike next from the shadows. Finn's desperate pleas fall on completely deaf ears. He is a man watching his entire universe burn to ash, realizing that his one fatal mistake in Monaco has cost him everything he holds dear. Ridge's unyielding demand echoes in the hallway. Sign the papers and walk away, or face total, inescapable annihilation. To fully understand the terrifying magnitude of Ridge's fury, one only has to look at what is happening behind the closed doors of the Forrester Creation CEO office. Steffi Forrester is a woman completely unmoored, her reality shattered by her husband's unforgivable deception. Having fled Monaco in a blind rage, she is currently spiraling in the office, desperately pouring drinks and drowning in her own trauma. But she is not alone. Carter Walton, reeling from his own devastating heartbreak and the tearful acceptance of his infertility crisis with Daphne, is right by her side. The atmosphere between Steffi and Carter is not one of gentle comfort. It is dark, dangerous, and incredibly lethal. They are two wounded animals sharing a heavily intoxicated, highly charged moment that feels less like a romantic seduction and more like a hit job pact. Steffi cries out that all she wants is to be free of the woman trying to destroy her family, and Carter's eyes darken with a dangerous resolve. Ridge knows his daughter is on the edge of the abyss, and he will destroy Finn to pull her back. Meanwhile, across town at the glamorous, high-stakes headquarters of Forrester Creations, another explosive war is detonating right in the middle of the design office. Electra Forrester is on an absolute warpath, her patience completely obliterated by Melissa Dillon's relentless, opportunistic scheming. Electra storms into the bustling office, her eyes flashing with vindictive fire, and publicly corners her former best friend. The tension is palpable as employees freeze, watching the shocking showdown unfold in real time. Electra refuses to hold back, unleashing a torrent of fury on Dylan for manipulating Will Spencer and infiltrating her life. With ice in her veins and a legacy to protect, Electra pulls the ultimate power card. "I am Electra Forrester," she screams, her voice dripping with undeniable authority and venom. She officially threatens to fire Dylan on the spot, determined to purge the company of the woman who betrayed her trust. Electra is reclaiming her territory, drawing a hard line in the sand, and demanding that Dylan pack her bags and get out of the building forever. But just as Electra prepares to deliver the final, fatal blow to Dylan's career, upper management frantically steps in and slams the brakes on her revenge. Forrester Creations is currently drowning in a massive, catastrophic public relations nightmare following the disastrous events in Monaco. The press is already circling like hungry vultures, smelling the blood in the water from the Forrester family scandals. Management brutally informs Electra that they simply cannot afford a wrongful termination lawsuit or a viral social media scandal involving a Forrester heiress firing an assistant over a messy love triangle. The corporate optics are disastrous, and the board is panicking. Electra's hands are officially tied by a suffocating corporate bureaucracy. She is ordered by the powers that be to stand down, swallow her immense pride, and simply deal with Dylan's presence in the office until the heat dies down. The sheer humiliation of being blocked by her own company's PR crisis sends Electra into a blinding, silent rage. She is a Forrester, yet she is entirely powerless to remove a toxic threat from her own domain. Melissa Dylan is anything but intimidated by the Forrester heiress. Sensing Electra's sudden, humiliating powerlessness, Dylan goes on the aggressive offensive, her face twisting into a smug, unapologetic smirk that screams victory. She fearlessly steps right into Electra's personal space, radiating defiance and calculated greed. Dylan knows exactly how to push Electra's buttons, and she presses every single one of them simultaneously. She boldly challenges the Forrester heiress, mockingly pointing out that if things get too tense at Forrester Creations, she can simply walk out the door and go work for the rival House of Logan. It is the ultimate stinging slap in the face. Dylan is brilliantly weaponizing the ongoing Forrester-Logan fashion war to secure her own survival and dominance. She is flaunting her leverage, proving that she is not just a disposable assistant, but a dangerous pawn who could hand lucrative Forrester secrets straight to Katie Logan Spencer. Dylan's absolute lack of fear is terrifying, cementing her status as a ruthless opportunist who will stop at nothing to get exactly what she wants. The shocking stalemate drives Electra absolutely crazy. Her blood boils as she watches Dylan strut away, completely unscathed and dangerously empowered by the corporate blockade. Electra realizes in that agonizing moment that this is no longer just a petty squabble over a boy. This is a brutal battle for survival. Her wounded pride is bleeding out on the design room floor, and she refuses to be the victim. She retreats to her corner, her mind racing with dark, vindictive strategies. Electra vows, with every fiber of her being, that she will use any means necessary to completely eradicate Dylan from Forrester Creations and from Will Spencer's life. She is entirely willing to play dirty, to manipulate the system, and to cross lines she never thought she would cross. The betrayal by her former best friend has triggered a feral, protective instinct within Electra. She knows that Dylan is a parasite, a gold digger who is slowly draining the life out of their world. And Electra is appointing herself as the ultimate exterminator. The suffocating tension finally boils over when the sun goes down and the neon lights of the Bikini Bar flicker to life. The trendy hotspot becomes ground zero for the ultimate, explosive showdown of the younger generation. Electra arrives on the arm of R.J. Forrester, seeking a brief escape from the corporate madness, only to walk straight into a living nightmare. Sitting across the bar, locked in a highly charged, awkward dynamic, are Will Spencer and Melissa Dylan. The collision is instantaneous and catastrophic. The air in the bar grows heavy, thick with unspoken threats, lingering jealousy, and raw, unfiltered hatred. RJ immediately steps up, his protective instincts flaring as he glares intensely at Will, the man who previously left him with bruised ribs and a bruised ego. Will stands his ground, torn between his desperate regret over losing Electra and the manipulative, magnetic pull of Dylan standing right by his side. It is a massive powder keg, just waiting for a single match to drop. The four of them are locked in a vicious, silent standoff, their eyes darting back and forth like combatants in an active war zone. Electra stares at Will, her heart breaking all over again as she sees him associating with the very woman who destroyed their trust. But her heartbreak quickly morphs into cold, calculated fury when she looks at Dylan. Dylan is practically draped over Will, staking her absolute claim, shooting smug, victorious glances directly at Electra. The sheer audacity of Dylan parading her stolen prize in public pushes Electra completely over the edge. She realizes that Dylan is intentionally trying to break her, to prove that she can take everything Electra holds dear without breaking a sweat. The tension is so thick you could choke on it. Every sip of a drink, every shifted glance, is a highly calculated move in this high-stakes game of emotional chess. RJ wraps his arm tightly around Electra, silently daring Will to make a move, while Will's fists clench in agonizing, helpless frustration. In that crowded, noisy bar, the rest of the world completely fades away for Electra Forrester. She looks at the smug, greedy face of her former best friend and comes to a chilling, undeniable realization. She's not just fighting for a job at Forrester Creations, and she is not just fighting for Will's heart. She is fighting for her own identity, her fierce pride, and her family's legacy. Dylan represents everything toxic and opportunistic in Los Angeles. A relentless force trying to tear down the empires that the Forresters and Spencers built from the ground up. Electra knows that if she backs down now, Dylan will consume everything in her path. This is a battle for absolute dominance. The hatred radiating from Electra is palpable, a physical force that crashes against Dylan's smug facade. Electra is no longer the heartbroken victim. She is a Forrester warrior, ready to burn the city to the ground to protect what is hers. The lines are drawn, the alliances are forged in fire, and the war is officially underway. This explosive conflict at the Bikini Bar is being fueled by fires burning across the entire city. Unbeknownst to Will, his mother Katie Logan Spencer is currently launching a full-scale, aggressive investigation into Melissa Dillon's past. Katie has already cornered Will at the beach house, ruthlessly interrogating him about his massive red flag romance with Electra's best friend. Katie is a woman who trusts her gut, and her gut is screaming that Dylan is a dangerous gold digger targeting the Spencer fortune. Will stubbornly shrugs off his mother's warnings. Sick of the constant interference in his love life, Katie is quietly pulling strings in the background. She is determined to unearth every single skeleton in Dylan's closet. Dylan thinks she has outsmarted Electra and secured her place by Will's side, but she has no idea that the matriarch of the Spencer family is currently hunting her down. The walls are closing in on Melissa Dillon, and the impending explosion will leave no survivors. Back at the hospital, the terrifying standoff between Ridge and Finn reaches a deafening crescendo. Ridge refuses to break eye contact, his imposing presence dominating the hallway. He steps even closer to Finn, invading his personal space, radiating an aura of absolute destruction. Ridge reminds Finn of every single tear Steffi has cried, every waking nightmare she has endured because of the monster he calls a mother. He paints a vivid, horrifying picture of the psychological torture Steffi experienced on that beach in Monaco when she realized her own husband was harboring a lethal threat. Ridge's words are precise, surgical strikes designed to completely dismantle Finn's resolve. He demands to know how Finn can call himself a healer, a doctor, a protector, when he deliberately exposed the mother of his children to a known psychopath. The sheer hypocrisy of Finn's actions is laid bare, and Ridge uses it to shatter whatever is left of Finn's defense. The divorce papers remain pressed against Finn's chest, a physical manifestation of his spectacular failure. Finn is physically shaking, the immense weight of his colossal mistake crushing the breath from his lungs. He looks down at the divorce papers, the stark black ink demanding the immediate end of his family. He thinks of Hayes, of Kelly, of the beautiful life he built with Steffi, and the thought of losing them is a physical, tearing agony. But Ridge's threat regarding the medical board looms like an executioner's axe above his head. Finn knows Ridge isn't bluffing. The Forresters have the power and the ruthless intent to erase him from Los Angeles entirely. Finn is trapped in a sadistic, impossible dilemma. Sign away the love of his life, or face total professional and personal ruin. He begs Ridge for just 5 minutes with Steffi, pleading for a chance to look her in the eye and apologize for his horrific lapse in judgment. But Ridge is an impenetrable fortress. He coldly informs Finn that Steffi has already made her choice, and that choice does not include him. The hospital corridor feels like a silent tomb as Finn realizes the true magnitude of his loss. At Forrester Creations, Electra is plotting the total annihilation of Melissa Dillon, blocked only by a fragile PR crisis. At the Bikini Bar, the younger generation is locked in a bitter, explosive turf war that threatens to tear two families apart. And here, in the sterile light of the hospital, John Finnegan is being forced to sign his own death warrant by a father who will stop at nothing to protect his cub. The towering empires of Los Angeles are crumbling under the weight of these secrets. The alliances are shifting in the shadows, and the betrayals are absolutely lethal. No one is safe, and the fallout from these explosive, irreversible confrontations will alter the fabric of their lives forever. The board is set, the pieces are moving, and the destruction is inevitable. Will Finn sign the divorce papers and lose Steffy forever? Or will he fight Ridge's lethal ultimatum? Drop your wildest theories below, hit subscribe, and don't miss our next shocking breakdown.